Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the MSCTY School of Sound Art. I am your host Robin the Fog, and this is the latest in our slightly irregular series of short videos containing fun sonic experiments that you can try for yourself at home. Or indeed in someone else's home, because today I'm leaving the confines of Fog Towers and heading back into Epping Forest for another trip to Copt Hall, the partially restored ruined mansion that MSCTY veterans may recall our visiting in episode 2. Having previously created a composition experimenting with the sound of a wine glass, for this latest project I thought we might add an extra challenge into the mix and try and create a new piece solely using a contact microphone. Let's go! I shall be joined in this audio endeavour by two of my very favourite sound artists, Andy Popperwell and Catherine Smith. There they are. As you might recall from our previous visit, Andy Popperwell is the Hall's resident historical soundscape expert. Indeed, he's currently undertaking a PhD on the subject. Meanwhile, Catherine Smith is a London-based composer and sound designer whose work makes great use of field recordings and archival sound, so this is very much in her wheelhouse. We're also accompanied by Rosie, who is on hand to take photographs, manipulate objects when instructed, and also help with the inevitable cable untangling that such endeavours always seem to require. You know, the kind of things that really brighten up a CV. We've got the place to ourselves and a very simple mission: to create an atmospheric new piece of sound art for the next Dark Tales and Strange Sounds at Copt Hall event. As the name implies, it's an immersive evening of ghost stories, theatre and music in the appropriately spooky and crepuscular environs of the old mansion. Andy has asked us to provide something sinister to play during the intermission, providing the audience with a taste of the uncanny to accompany the locally brewed ales, mulled wine and artisan crisps. What is a contact microphone? Well, for those of you who have not yet had the pleasure, let's take a quick diversion via this windy hilltop with some help from my assistant Matthew and our two accomplices Molly and Fergus. As you may already have guessed, the clue is in the name. A contact mic is especially designed to pick up vibrations in the surface of whatever object it is attached to, and objects with moving parts or resonating surfaces work particularly well. For this demonstration, we've taken two contact mics and attached them with gaffer tape to different parts of this delightfully rustic country gate. As Matthew pushes and pulls the gate, the rusted iron hinges and crossbeams start to vibrate, making a delightful series of creaking moans and groans. These vibrations are then picked up by the contacts and captured by a digital recorder. Play them back while adding just a smattering of digital reverb and you've got an instant haunted house atmosphere, which of course is entirely fitting for our business today. Seriously, contact mics are tremendous fun to use, often revealing a whole world of hidden sonic detail lurking in otherwise familiar objects. And of course they are much loved by the experimental music community, all the way back to the great John Cage. Back at Copt Hall with our pair of contact mics and Andy's master set of keys, we were lucky enough to have access all areas, including the delightfully sinister cellars. Naturally, our first experiment involved some creaky old hinges, and placing the contacts in different positions on this heavy, solid wooden door provided us with some lovely spooky rumblings. But perhaps inevitably our most inspiring sound-making devices were the vintage musical instruments that we found upstairs in the staterooms. If you're wanting some instant ghostly atmospherics, you really can't beat a good piano, or indeed a good harpsichord. Fortunately for us, Copt Hall has one of each, both in rather urgent need of tuning, but of course for our purposes, a little discord is all grist to the mill. We spent a lot of time on the harpsichord in particular, experimenting with different mic placements on the strings, the hammers, the wooden sounding board, the outer casing, and we also tried different ways of playing the instrument, the conventional way using the keyboard, but also plucking, rubbing and dampening the strings to get different sonic textures, some smooth and silky, others harsh and dissonant. The results sounded not too dissimilar from the prepared piano techniques pioneered by John Cage, there's that name again, while those creaking door hinges added a ghostly sense of foreboding. Add a few fake candles and some atmospheric lighting, fill the room with an unsuspecting audience who've imbibed some ghost stories and a drink or two, and we find our stage to be well and truly set. Here's what we came up with. So there you have it. Not bad for one afternoon playing around with a door and a harpsichord. Why not try something similar for yourself? It's amazing the kind of sonic surprises you can discover hidden inside the most mundane of objects. And I know for a fact that Andy Popplewell is always looking for spooky contributions for future Dark Tales and Strange Sounds events. We'd love to hear what you come up with. Ready-made contact mics can be purchased relatively cheaply via the internet, but if you're feeling adventurous, you can easily find online tutorials detailing how to make your own from scratch. The ones used here were made by the sound artist and field recordist Jez Riley French, and you can order a pair for yourself and check out more of his fascinating work by visiting his website jezrileyfrench.co.uk. You can delve into the history of Copt Hall, check out some of Andy's sound recordings, and even volunteer for future events by visiting copthalltrust.org.uk. And as ever, there's a wealth of sonic intrigue waiting for you over at MSCTY.space. My thanks to Andy, Catherine and Rosie for being tremendous fun to work with, and to the Copt Hall Trust for letting us gently abuse various items of the furniture. I'm also indebted to our Dark Tales and Strange Sounds audience for allowing us to unleash our experiments on them untested, especially that one person who confidently predicted our handiwork would give them nightmares for at least a fortnight. Another satisfied customer.